Hey, what's going on? So, I was looking into the other day, I did a video which led me to do birth rates, how they're declining. And then I talked about how certain of the Arab countries, they're declining much quicker. And I talked about depleted uranium and how um, all our bullets have depleted uranium. And we litter these countries with munitions that's radioactive, that has half lives of tens of thousands of years, and kids are picking these up, and the declining birth rates and stillborns. And so I thought I'd expound on that a little bit more today with another video. And the name of the video, I think, is going to be Nuclear Holocaust, um, the real extinction event. So, you know, our world's on this nuclear madness trip, and I don't understand how people think that this isn't a problem. I mean, ever since the first test was the Trinity test, first nuclear bomb in 1945. We had this Manhattan Project where 200,000 people were working on this top secret, and everybody was compartmentalized. Nobody knew, people had an idea what was going on, and a lot of accidents. A lot of those people died. Okay, but after they did the Trinity test, and by the way, Japan wanted out of the war. Okay, they wanted out, and we knew it. But you know what? We just pretended we didn't know it. And so, of course, in 1945, right after the Trinity test, we dropped two bombs. The first bomb was called Little Boy, and it was uranium. Okay, we dropped that one on Hiroshima. And then 3 days later, like if that wasn't enough, we dropped another bomb, which is a plutonium bomb called the Fat Man, and we dropped that on Nagasaki. Now, first of all, why did we drop two bombs? Maybe we had to test the nuclear ones because one was uranium, one was plutonium, and we had this Manhattan Project going on, right? We had to do this, right? Even though Japan wanted out, and so, then they made this book, where the people, right in 1945, there's a book called Hiroshima, and I like to buy it whenever I see it, but it's about a bunch of people who like they lived through it, and they explain, hey, it was okay, they didn't die. The thing is you don't die right away. I mean, if you get low level exposure, it could take 30 years. Okay, you could die slow death. You could have all kind of, well, all those people in this book that was, by the way, was published in 1946, 1 year after the Hiroshima, and they're like showing the people, oh, it wasn't so bad. It's probably written for us to read so we could say nuclear power wasn't so bad because we needed to make nuclear power a big thing. All right, so that was that whole book. It's a good book. It's a great story, but it's BS. All those people died, got, it total BS. Anyways, it's called Hiroshima. Check it out. It's a little small book. I don't know, probably $30 because they printed a lot of them. So they dropped these bombs, and so why we did both of them is beyond me. And by 1986, the world had 70,400 nuclear bombs. Okay, and then of course we had all these treaties and stuff, and we're today 2023. We're still down. We still got 22,000 of these bombs. And one time we had enough bombs. America had enough bombs to blow the world over 12 times, and Russia 40 times. Okay, that's how much we had. And we were testing these things all over the Midwest. We were doing above ground, below ground, in the water. I'm thinking it was like over 200 nuclear weapons, and these clouds are coming over America, and the plumes were dropping. And back when I went to high school, a lot of kids, young kids, had leukemia. Okay, and totally radiation um, exposures. Okay, from the fallouts and in the food. Well, we'll go back a little bit. 1957, Germany, they passed this Atomic Act, and that just cleared the way for massive nuclear plant explosions. They're all over the place. I mean, Germany had 100 plants, okay, and 9 of them today are still running, even though Germany's getting all green and they got like plants growing on their roofs and stuff. They still got 9 plants, and they're one of the worst polluters of all time. And I'll explain what they've done. But they had 100 plants, and today we have like 500 or so nuclear ships and subs. All right, and nine of them have already sunk. Okay, nine of them are underwater nuclear subs that we just sunk. Okay, Russia did a bunch of them. And other people did as well. Um, and then we sunk ships too. Matter of fact, the Italian mafia sunk 30 ships in the oceans that were full of radioactive waste. I mean, full of it. So we are completely destroying our waters. These isotopes have half lives. Forget uranium is 4 billion years. Think about that. And they tell you like I'll get into that in a second. So they had these facilities, and today we have 440 nuclear power plants. Okay, the U.S. had 99 nuclear power plants, and we've been closing some of them, and we have about close to 70 now that are operating. And U.S. we mined 50 tons of uranium and produced 28 tons of. I mean, said we mined 50 tons and we produced 28 tons of uranium. So we're still producing this stuff. We're taking it out of the ground. It'll never decompose. It will never have its half life in millions of years. Okay, and we're still taking it out. We know we got these problems. Okay, and so U.S. has lots of accidents, and I have a lot of videos. I did 2 videos a couple of months ago, and I talked about a bunch of them. But we've had nuclear releases all over the place. Okay, I mean we've had leaks, we've had meltdowns. I mean, and so is the rest of the world. Matter of fact, the U.S. even they recycled some stuff accidentally, and they put it in metal studs, which ended up in people's houses. Okay, some ended up in appliances. So I mean, this stuff happens here at home. Okay, the nuclear power plant will produce like 1,200 isotopes. They all got different half lives: alphas, betas, gammas, and like if you have a meltdown, you're not going to have the uranium. The uranium plutonium will be near the plant, but will go up in the sky would be cesium, and let's say cesium 137, cesium 134, iodine 131. And these have different half-lives. Some are 9 days, some are 3 years, 30 days, some are 3 years. And these are things that fall out. So alphas and betas are bad. I mean, they say it can't go through a piece of paper, but once you breathe it or you eat it, because if it gets on your garden and you eat it, it's in your body forever. Okay, it doesn't decompose, and it'll irradiate, and it may take 30 years for you to get sick from it. And so you can never prove where it came from. I mean, cancer rates are astronomical. Okay, and where they all come, a lot of these are nuclear related. Okay, waters that's like Chicago nuclear power plants had 7 water releases. I mean, millions of gallons of water went into the sewer systems and into the ground. Right? Yeah. A lot of people are going to get sick. It may take 10 years. Okay, and so they do produce a lot of isotopes. Now, some of the isotopes you hear about are tritium. That stuff. You get exposed to that, it's going to destroy your body. Okay, and then there's also people that live around the plants. They get cancer. There's the high cancer rates, a lot of leukemia rates, and some of the ones around plants. And like I said, there's 440 of them. You have cesium, strontium, and plutonium, and these things have killed tens of thousands of people. I mean, if you look at some of these, Russia's had a bunch of releases. You had Chernobyl, okay, and so when you take uranium out of the ground, okay, it's going to produce nucleoids, and these nucleoids, can't say the word, aren't found in nature. I mean, we are making these things. They're not part of this earth. We make them, and they don't decompose. Okay, they're nothing but deadly. And if you think that you could run this world on nuclear power for much longer, you're wrong. Okay, and it's not clean energy at all. Okay, the like I said, uranium. They tell you that if you want a nucleoid or to be safe, you have to wait for 10 half-lives. So let's just use the biggest one, which is uranium, 4 billion years. So it's 40 billion years. It's not going away ever. Okay, it's never going away. Lately, you always hear about bird die-offs, fish die-offs, whale die-offs, massive extinction of birds, extinction of plants. Okay, the Pacific Ocean right now is becoming the starfish, the sea urchins, they're all dying. They've had die-offs. The tide pools have nothing in them. And that's because Fukushima is dumping water, radioactive water. And not only that, the groundwater, these idiots built this thing next to the ocean, okay, plus on a fault line. Not to mention that the groundwater goes underneath it, and they're still melting, man. 2011, they're still underground. They're still melting. That water's just going into the ocean, and it's killing the fish. And you got to be careful. I don't know if you can eat fish anymore because you don't know where it's coming from. I used to think just the fish from the Pacific Ocean, but the fish up in the polar areas where they're doing a lot of fishing, okay, that's all radioactive too. There's submarines down there. There's tanks down there, and so the half life is a really really long time, and and sometimes they you get these bird die offs. Oh, a lot of fish die off, and they come up with all kind of stuff. Okay, but radiation poisoning probably ionic heaters, weather modification. Okay, and once radiation gets in your body, like I was talking about the alphas and gammas, gets in the bones, it ain't coming out. You ain't getting it out. Okay, it's just going to keep you radiating, destroying your body. It's going to damage chromosomes. It's going to damage your DNA. Okay, and so bad stuff, really bad stuff. And it doesn't just cause leukemia, radiation. I mean, it causes all kind of sicknesses. I mean, you got from toothaches to cancer to death. There's 500 things in between, okay, that people don't report on, and they can lead to other things, and and then you have the domino effect, okay. And sometimes you're not going to get cancer for 20, 30 years, just like radon gas. Radon gas, you got to be exposed to 4+ picocuries per liter, second lead of lung cancer, and they say in 20 years. So 20 years to get lung cancer. So think about all these people now, that they're dying and they're passing this down to their kids at all these nuclear releases that we've had in the past. I mean, they did a test on mice, okay, because they could do different generations pretty quick with mice. So they did 25. They exposed the mice to radiation, and they went 25 generations, and they were still able to find new forms of cancer on a 25th generation. It was passing it down. It became hereditary at this point. So not good. Okay, the infant mortality rates, they're huge. The stillborn deaths, huge. Okay, they don't even properly report on those in certain countries. Okay, now Bosnia, Kosovo, Iraq, and Afghanistan, they have crashing birth rates. They used to have high birth rates, and I did a video the other day on the Earth's population growth is crashing. So check it out, okay? But these four places, you have to remember what happened here. We created a boogeyman, okay? A boogeyman. We've been creating boogeymans in all these countries, okay? CIA is really good at this stuff. And then we go look for the boogeyman, right? And then we blow it up. We kill everybody in the process, and we use depleted uranium, okay? All the munitions that we have is uranium, okay? It's when they mine uranium, there's stuff they can't use and stuff that's depleted, and they put that into bullets. That's why they have piercing bullets. I mean, in Afghanistan, we were hunting for bin Laden, and now we've contaminated their water because we shot these things into the ground. This uranium, think about it, ammunition in the ground, in the water table, and whatever the half life is, like oodles and oodles of years, and it just keeps irradiating the groundwater. These people can't even drink the water, and their kids got like weird head shapes, and their organs are attached to their back. They're not even telling you about the malignancies and the deformations of these kids in these areas. So in those areas, the birth rate's crashing, and who's weapons of mass destruction? We're gonna go get them. I mean, the weapons of mass destruction. We're the ones that brought weapons of mass destruction to these places. We're the ones that littered these places with munitions that was radioactive. We're the ones causing. Now, years and years later, they got kids with organs on their backs. They're dying. Nobody talking about that stuff. So who really had the weapons of mass destruction? Okay, um, and so the aquifers now in Afghanistan totally a lot more contaminated. Okay, um, and the cancer rates around all plants around the world very high around every, and there's what, 440 power plants, and there's other places too where they mine it, where they refine it. Okay, now for it's just for numbers, if you for every kilowatt per hour of nuclear energy created, ready for this, zero point 0.5 to zero point 0.8 milligrams is waste. Now if you took zero point 0.8 milligrams of waste and you distribute it over a large area, it would kill thousands and thousands of people. It would kill thousands. That little bit would kill thousands and thousands of people. All right. 10,000 tons of depleted uranium fuel rods every year. Okay, we dispose of or restore somewhere. 20 million years it would take for these fuel rods to decompose to be safe. 20 million years. Okay. We today, I believe that the number is 70 tons of plutonium is still produced today. It's amazing. After all these problems, they're still digging this stuff up. And so we are on a destructive extinction event. Okay. And this stuff is all over stored in places. Okay. And they're all leaking. Let's talk about some of that. Okay. So, you know, well, inappropriately stored as well. So, for example, there's millions of barrels of radioactive um, barrels that were dumped. Ready for this? 40 some miles on the coast of San Francisco. There's 50,000 of them there, just in the water. And when they dump these things, if they floated, the Marines shot them, put holes into them so they would sink. Okay, think about the fishermen out there that are fishing. They bring home fish, and we're buying it. How many of you have radiation detectors to test to see what's radioactive? And it's almost impossible to test some of these types of radiation without having the right meter. Why aren't they selling us these tests? No, they just raise the levels of the radiation in our food. Okay, that's what they're doing, raising it. Okay, so we are eating radioactive. I would not eat a friggin' thing from California and I don't eat any. Haven't eaten anything out of California. Well, maybe accidentally. And so 50,000 barrels just there. Okay. Now there's a process. I don't know how to say this word, but Lahuge, Lahague. Okay. It's in Germany, processing plant. And they dispose 2 tons per day in a pipe into the ocean. Okay. They dump it in the ocean, 2 tons a day. They've dumped 35 million barrels of radioactive water, okay, of radiation into the waters near Normandy, France. What about those fishermen over there fishing? And then they come home and grandma dies with cancer, and the kids got leukemia, and the daughter had a stillborn, and then there was a malignant kid. No one's counting this stuff. It's happening everywhere. Kids today are afraid to have kids because they're afraid something's going to be wrong with the kid. Plus I just did a video on that. You should check it out. I just put it up. So Russia can't even afford to dispose of their new radioactive waste. So what do? They got all their nuclear power plants next to rivers. Yeah, they dump it in the river, man. Just put it in the river. What about all the Russians? You have a lot of the adopted kids that come here from Ukraine. Okay, the Ukrainian birth rate is a 1.2. Oh yeah, 1.2. Think about that. Nothing to do with Chernobyl, right? No news here. No, nothing to do with Chernobyl. I mean, the Russians are dumping us into rivers. Okay, and you wonder sometimes you see these adopted kids, people adopt, and they're kind of something's wrong with them. Gee, what could it be? What could it be? Okay, it's not alcoholism alone. All right, and so the Russians are dumping it. Okay, the Manhattan Project. This is us. Okay, we had 9 reactors. We had 5 plutonium plants in Washington State. Right, and during that time we generated. And every time they tell you something, multiply that by 10 but we generated 173 tankfuls, and these are tanks the size of a pretty large house. Okay, those are the ones that they're telling us about. Okay, it's probably 10 times more than that. Well, after 10 years, these things started leaking. Now, if somebody were to hit those with a bomb and they went atmospheric on us, it would kill everybody in the entire northern hemisphere. Just the Manhattan Project waste alone, if something bad happened to it. Now, what are you going to do with that for 20 million years? Okay, these tanks, they're putting them places. Okay, they're leaking. I mean, this is a great example is Fukushima. And they say 30. I don't know why they use you always hear the word 33. It's always 33 this, 33 that. They said 33 million 1-ton bags. Okay, let's just say 10 million. 10 million 1-ton bags cleaned up on site of dirt and soil all over. You can look this, go on the computer, go to Google Earth, and go to Japan. Start looking for these things. They're green. There'll be these green patches. Okay, they're right next to farmland. So they store these 1-ton bags 4 high. Okay, 10 million of them. Actually, they say 33 million, but let's just say 10. They're leaking. They've seen them floating down rivers already. Okay, and the thyroid cancer there, the kids' cancer rate, 30% of all those kids there have some kind of thyroid issue. The cancer rates are astronomical. You think that Japan says, "Oh, everything is under control. Everything is under control." When they had those nuclear waste meltdowns, man, that was the furthest thing from under control. Okay, the Japanese birth rate is a 1.3 or some crazy number. I mean, in 60 years, there'll be nobody in Japan. Everybody will be dead because they have a 1 point. You need a 2.1 to survive. They're a 1.3, okay, and crashing. They're crashing, okay. And if you look at the places where all the birth rates are crashing, they're all the places like in Europe. Europe has hundreds of nuclear facilities. Their birth rates are way down, 1.4. No one's having kids there. They have, and they're always in these areas where there was radiation. You got to put the two in. Somebody needs to do a website that shows you every place where there's nuclear reactors and where there's nuclear waste and where there was releases. I mean, you shouldn't live anywhere near any of those places. Okay, so basically, the Manhattan Project did a lot of damage. Plus, we made. Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for coming on. We did a lot of damage. Okay, with this by making bombs, and like I said, we blew up. Kennedy shut this down. Okay, in 1963. Before that, we blew 200 plus atomic weapons. Okay, in the West Coast. I mean, gee, I wonder why Kennedy went away. Just okay, he shut all that down. He shut a lot of stuff down, and so so we got submarines right now that are leaking in the ocean under way down. Some of these are so deep we can't even get to them. Okay, Germany, they're burning nuclear waste. This is Germany, where all the Gretas live. They got green roofs. Oh, green energy, solar. They're burning nuclear waste. These are hypocrites. Gore, you're a hypocrite. You guys are all hypocrites. You green people that think nuclear power is clean. You're a hypocrite. You're a moron. You're ignorant. You are stupid people, and you're being brainwashed. Your minds have been disassociated. It is nothing clean about it. It's destruction of the planet. It's extinction. We are on an extinction event right now. Sorry, I got a little excited there. So Germany is burning its stuff, okay? And when you burn it, you can't just burn it. It becomes aerosolized. Now it goes up into the sky. It goes up into the ionosphere. And what happens there? Little particles, they turn to little clouds. And little clouds get big clouds. And it rains. So you're raining radiation, okay? And then it blocks the sun. Oh, that's good. That's good because we need to block the sun because we got to save the planet. We're blocking the sun with radioactive particles that we burn that are up in the stratosphere and we're destroying we're also destroying I'll have to do a video on the ionosphere. We'll do that maybe next. And so they got this place in Germany. Now they're not just burning it. They're actually stupid enough to store it in salt mines, okay? ASSI, okay? ASSI. ASSE is the town, and it was a potash mine, okay? And they disposed of 25,000 barrels, okay, between 1967 and 1978. And they all leaked into the groundwater. I mean, into the groundwater. Like, oh, and they said it was going to be perfectly fine. Nothing's going to be wrong with that. No, it leaked in the groundwater, and now all the groundwater is being contaminated. I mean, massively. So now they got to pump it back out. Yeah, they're pumping out 12,000 liters per day out of this place. And where are those going? I'm quite sure they're going into the ocean. Okay, because the ocean's big, right out. It'll dilute. How much dilution can you get away with? Okay, and then you got this place called Gorleben, Germany. Okay, which is they're kind of both related, these two people, and and yeah, Japan is America's 51st state. Yeah, I would probably. And so what they're doing there is they have a salt mine. They're putting all the nuclear waste in the salt mine. What happens when you take nuclear waste and salt? You create a whole new concoction, man. I mean, not a good idea. Especially in the middle. And this thing is in the middle of the East and West Germany along the border. It's right there. So they're going to keep their own nuclear waste. It's going to just. I mean, I would love to see the cancer rates in Germany, the true ones, if they would tell you, okay? And so they're dumping in this particular place. They're dumping. Ready for this? 400 to 500 tons every year. That's and every year, 400 tons is approximately 200,000 Hiroshima bombs. Yeah, 200,000. One Hiroshima bomb, 2, 20, 200, 2,000. 200,000. I mean, that is like, it's farcical. It's farcical. And so they're putting the stuff in the salt mines under Germany. Hey, what if they have an earthquake? Oh, man, it's over, man. It's over, Rover. And we'll talk about that towards the end. What happens to people, what's going to happen to people when these things start popping like zits, because they're already popping. All right, matter of fact, in America, these idiots just extended all our nuclear power plants for 25 more years. My kids are 25. When they're 50, they're like, holy shit, what are we going to do with these nuclear power plants now? Who's going to clean them? Where are they going to put it? These are stupid people. Okay, and by the way, if anybody wants to argue with me in the comment section, everybody attack them, because there's the 2 or 3 people that will get down here and they'll start attacking me because they're shills. They're paid by the NGOs. They're paid by the nuclear industry to do this. They get paid to fluff up nuclear power. Okay, and they're complete idiots, and there'll be a few down there. I've been getting rid of them, but they keep coming up. Okay, so the nuclear power is the biggest scam of all time. The biggest scam of all time. And there you say nuclear power, climate protection, on the biggest scam of all time. And they're trying to blame you and me, and cows farting, so they could they could monitor our lives and change our money to some social score, carbon credit score. And we're the ones that we're not the ones doing this. They are doing this. The weather modification people are doing this. The shipping industry is doing it. The airplane industry using JP8 fuels doing it. The shipping industry using kerosene bunker fuel. They're the ones destroying this planet. China and India, biggest polluters, man. Just go to Earth Null School and look at it every day. It's like anybody who lives in these two countries is going to die when they're 50. I mean, you can't walk out of your house in some of these places in India and China without wearing a triple mask. I'm not even sure a HEPA filter works. I mean, it's that bad there. And so, biggest scam of all time. And what in 1950s, what they did was they said, they used this phrase, ready for this? Peaceful use of nuclear energy. That's what they said in 1950, after we blew the hell out of 2 countries, blew all these bombs up, had all these leaks. They said, peaceful use of nuclear energy. And that opened the path for the GE reactors and all these companies making these reactors, okay? And just so you know, in 1930, we had 5 to 6 million wind farms. Okay, farmers that had windmills, 5 to 6 million of them. But the minute they had it, they made them get rid of them because they had to tap into the electrical grid. Okay, and so we had wind. Okay, you know, um, the nuclear industry destroyed the solar power industry. Okay, destroyed it. I mean, in 1995, the last solar plant, solar battery, whatever panel plant left Germany in 1995. Now, of course, we're scrambling back now because they're realizing we have an extinction event and we just can't go on like this. It's actually too late. I hate to tell you. I don't know. I have no clue how they're going to fix this. So nuclear energy was never efficient. Okay, I mean, and here's the thing. You know why they're never going to get rid of it? Because the nuclear bomb. We know nine countries that have the nuclear bomb. They're not giving up that nuclear bomb. No way. And they're not going to give up the nuclear power plants. And there's another 40 countries that are trying to get the nuclear bomb. Okay, some got it. We don't know. They don't tell you. They don't tell us everything. Okay, and I don't even understand why we need them. It's not like we're going to bomb Russia. We're going to do bomb Russia with nuclear weapons, so then it kind of floats back over to the United States and we kill our own people. Stupid, stupid. These people are stupid. Okay, I don't get it. I just don't understand it. And so we got rid of the wind farms. We killed solar energy. Okay, and the problem today is we're more worried about selling than saving. So we make all these products that require energy that we don't even need. We don't even need these products instead of saving it. So then we need more nuclear power, right? We don't need all this power because we don't need half the shit they sell. We don't need 50 shoes and 80 sweaters, and so it's consumption is a problem, a big problem. And it's also it's a problem in countries like America where we do more consumption, okay? So and what happened also with this nuclear power is an example would be when Germany, when they got liberalized. I have a hard time with a couple words here. They split it up into 4 sectors. And each sector was a monopoly. And it's like the people in Germany were slaves, and they were paying 3 times the cost of energy because they could do that. And that was nuclear power. It was doing that to Germany. Now, not just Germany. It's being done all over the place, okay? The media never reports on anything because if you report on something, it's over for you. I mean, just look at Hollywood. The minute somebody says something bad, like, I didn't want to say some of those words, but they say something bad, they get destroyed instantly. You say something bad in news, you get destroyed, you get whacked. You got to play their game. You got to be on their narrative. So that you cannot watch your media. The media is not good at. They're just going to lead you into false perceptions. They're going to keep flooding your brain with repetitive programming. It's all going to be their narrative. Okay, and then what they do is MK Ultra style. They'll create some trauma events. Trauma events basically traumatize people. Now they're doing world trauma events, like the one those 2 buildings came down. And when you traumatize people, you disassociate their mind. And then when you do that, you could split it up, okay? And you could take that mind and repeatedly put stuff into it, okay? And this is what they do. They propaganda. That's why these kids, they think that the straws kill frogs or straws kill turtles. Yeah. Plastic straws kill turtles. No more plastic straws for you. Stupid. That's how stupid these people are. And so nuclear energy never was efficient, okay? And the media is going to completely lie to us. Hey, what's up, Aaron? Hey, what's up? How you guys doing, John? Thanks for coming on. Okay, so in 1957, let's talk about some of these releases. So 1957, Russia had an explosion. Okay, 100,000 people were affected, and many more. 1979, 3 Mile Island. They said, "Oh, it's not so bad." Half the friggin' reactor melted, man. half of it, and all the cows ended up having two heads, okay, around that area. Now everyone's got all kind of cancers, okay. Then you had Chernobyl, right? 1986, two explosions, 10 days of fire. Oh my God, the birth rates are low. I mean, we're talking 150,000 people affected, okay. And the numbers that went so far, that pollution went so, in Scotland right after that, they had to kill and to get rid of all the sheep and all the cattle. It went up to the polar areas, and they had to go kill tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of reindeer. They're all poisoned. And they show you these skinny polar bears, like, oh, it's the climate's causing the skinny polar bears. There's no food for them. Man, those polar bears aren't skinny because of climate. They got leukemia, man. They got leukemia because there's all kind of radiation up there that was dumped into the waters, submarines, ships. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay. And so, they killed those. They killed reindeer. I mean, they had to kill reindeer. And so 35 million people, okay, were contaminated by that somehow. And like I said earlier, it could take 10, 20, 30 years for you to get sick from it, to get cancer. And 10 million of these people are still living around these areas. What about all the poor people? They're not poor, but why are the people living around Fukushima? Oh, they could come back now. Really? You could come back, what? Come back and die? Everybody, when you look this stuff up on the internet, they say Fukushima, 3 worker deaths. 3 worker deaths? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? All the workers are dead. Okay? All the people that clean up Fukushima, dead. Okay? Not 3. Thousands. Okay? That's still a problem today. It's killing the ocean today. The starfish, the sea urchins, the fish, die-offs, whales. I mean, it's amazing. You don't even hear about half this stuff, okay? And so 10 million of these people. Oh, and like the soldiers, they had to go clean up Chernobyl. If they didn't clean up Chernobyl, they were shot. Every soldier that cleaned up Chernobyl is dead. And they buried them in tin coffins that will be contaminating the groundwater. So these dead people now that have Chernobyl crap on them are in tin, in the ground, contaminating the ground and the water and the worms are getting radioactive too. Okay, there's no win here. Okay, and then when they do Chernobyl, they cover it with a big concrete dome. Oh, that'll work. No, it leaked. Now they're doing another dome on top of that dome. And think about how many more domes we got to put over Chernobyl for the next 20 million years. I mean, before you know it, there really will be a dome over this whole planet. You flat earthers think, you crazy nuts. Man, you guys are stupid. Flat earth. Oh my God. I don't want to waste my time talking about you guys. You guys are morons. Okay. But that's what we're going to do to Chernobyl. We're going to make a dome over it and keep doing it. Every couple of million years, there'll be more domes on top. I mean, how many domes are you going to put on this thing? We're already on 2, okay? And it's still leaking, okay? It's amazing. 2011, Fukushima. Basically air slides 4,500 fuel rods, not to mention 4 reactors, okay? And they're still leaking, okay? And ready for this? Fukushima. Ready? Hang on. 12,000 times as devastating as Chernobyl. I just got to talk about Chernobyl, right? For 10 minutes. 12,000 times Chernobyl. 12,000 Chernobyls. Yeah, that's Fukushima. The one, our president, he goes, oh, don't worry about it. This is that Obama character. Oh, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's all under control. What does he do? On 3/11, when the thing exploded, well, 5 days later, this plume came over, okay, Canada and U.S., and him and the entire White House and the dog and all the GE, because GE makes those reactors, right, all went down the southern hemisphere. Look it up. Go look up at the flight plans and the departures. You'll see they went down there for those 10 days while you and me were eating food from our gardens that was contaminated with cesium-137, cesium-134, and it was also the time when they shut down the radiation monitors, all 99 of them, they pulled the tapes out because they're supposed to test it. They quit testing for milk during that year because they knew the half-life, by the time they would test for it, the half-life would be good. Yeah, and a year later they tested and said everything's fine. And in the meantime, they raised all the radiation levels in our food. I mean, we're eating radioactive food and it's acceptable. They raised it, man. Hillary, that whole bunch of people, man. This is the biggest cover-up. Fukushima is the biggest cover-up. It is. Every time I do a video, things get worse, don't they? Because I keep studying, seeing more and more of this stuff. Biggest cover-up on this planet. I mean, it's going to kill millions of people. Okay, remember, 30 years, and so. Sorry, I got excited again. And so Fukushima isn't ending here real quick. Now, you're okay. We're talking about the food. So European Union, okay, they just raised. Now, this is what acceptable radiation levels in food is, okay? Initially, the real one was, ready for this? 0.3. 0.3. Okay? They raised it to, ready? The first time, they raised it to 500. From 0.3 to 500. Oh, wait, they raised it again from 500. Ready for this? 1,350 becquerels. So what was considered highly radioactive is now safe food in Europe. Insanity. This is insane. These people are insane. Okay? You're eating radioactive food. Yeah, I don't even buy food. I try to stay out of stores. You guys were making fun of me because I got all these gardens I got going on. I buy 1,200 tomato plants. There's a reason for that. I'm doing all my herbs now because I know this stuff ain't going to get better. It's just going to get worse. Okay? And like, you're going to go to the grocery store. It's going to cost you $50 a bag. And you're buying radioactive crap. Yeah, and then you can make your little dinner and put a little, I don't know, a little lemon on the side to make it all pretty, whatever. Man, you better be growing your own food. You really should. So 500 million people, we're getting close to the end here. 500 million people live near nuclear power plants. Now, ready? Okay. If there's an accident, you think you just pack up and go? No, I don't think so. You got 3 hours, okay? Because in 3 hours, there's going to be a plume raining on you, and everyone's going to be leaving, right? Think about this. And all the other countries are going to close their borders and say, you ain't coming in here. And then all the soldiers and all our military have been trained, secretly trained to kill people who are radioactive. Yeah, you're going to be killed. If you have a nuclear meltdown, they're going to kill you because you're going to want to leave. They're just going to whack you. You'll be done. You'll be in some massive grave somewhere. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. They're not. First of all, they can't fix you. What are you going to do? Bring in a truck? Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of doctors who are going to be on suicide missions to help you? Are you going to bring in millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of bandages, truckloads of bone marrow? Yeah, you think so? You think they're going to do all that? Nah, man. See you later, alligator. You know, I would never be living. I don't know if I like where I'm living. I got David Bessie, 2 hours up the road, and I got Concord, an hour and a half down the road. Okay, luckily I'm south of them, so the wind's going to blow that way. But I don't know. I mean, it's not good. Okay, 500 million people. Now here's what's going to happen. Okay, so let's say you got radiation poisoning. You're in one of these towns where there is a meltdown. Okay, and you can't leave. I mean, when we had a 3-mile meltdown, they didn't first of all tell people it was a meltdown. They let those people stay there. Then all of a sudden, I got to get the pregnant women out. Hurry up, get out. It's already too late, okay? And so it's not like you've got time. 3 hours is your maximum time. First thing's going to happen, you're going to have, ready? Bleeding, crack. Your skin's going to start cracking in your mouth, on your body. You're going to start bleeding, okay? Then what's going to happen is your mouth's start going to get full of ulcers, and they're going to bleed. You're not going to be able to eat, okay? And then you're going to have constant diarrhea, okay? then all of a sudden your hair is going to start falling out. You're going to start getting infections. We're only on 4 weeks right now, okay? You're going to get infections. You're going to have any energy, okay? Your red blood cells are going to crash. Your white blood cells are going to crash. And you're going to die. If you don't die then, and they save you, you'll just die a little bit later. Painfully, okay? This painfully. And so I'll end this now. By the way, I'll end it with one paragraph in a second. Let me just end it with a paragraph, and then I'll do my... No. I have... down below, I have a few Amazon. I sell Amazon products, including this hat that I've been wearing for the last couple of videos. This thing will stop all frequencies. If you put a phone in this thing, it ain't gonna ring. Okay, and so that helps for radio. It helps for radio frequencies, low frequencies, high frequencies, electromagnetic fields, electric fields. I don't know about microwaves, but a lot of things. Okay. I also will have a book. I'm writing not on this stuff. It's a home inspection book, and I should be getting it out in about a year from now. So I'll have it on my sites, and that's about how you can live in your house, where to live, where to put your house, what you can do in your house so you can survive living. I mean, it's not a survival house book, but it's a pretty good book. I've been a home inspector now for close to 40 years. I've done 18,000 homes, so not a shoestringer when it comes to houses. And also, please rate, subscribe, hit the bell for future videos. So governments will come and go, right? Radiation doesn't come and go. It stays forever. You bring something out of the ground, you mess with it, you created something this earth ain't used to. Nobody's used to it, okay? It's staying forever, okay? We need to abandon nuclear power. We need to, first of all, we need to stop digging it and bring it up out of the ground, okay? And then we got to clean it up. You and me got to clean it up, and our kids are going to have to clean it up. We're all going to die. I'm going to die. My kids are going to die, and some of their kids are going to die just cleaning up the mess we've already created. We're going to die from cleaning it up and doing something with it. I don't even know what we're going to do with it yet, but we're going to lose 3 generations cleaning up this planet. So 100 years from now, the 4th and 5th generation, and if they don't have babies that have attached organs on their backs, okay, or birth defects, hopefully there'll be a few normal looking ones out of all this, can live. That's what's got to happen. It's doom and gloom. There's no return. We can't go back. And don't follow orders. Don't obey. Don't listen. Don't believe these psychopaths. Turn off the news. You know how you win? You know how we win? We take our TVs and we throw them in the street. We shut them off. Turn them off. We don't watch any Hollywood bullshit. CIA's got an office in Hollywood. You think every movie, every word, every thing in that movie isn't part of a narrative? Every single part of a movie. I mean, if it's not obvious, it's hidden. Same with your news. And now they're poisoning us. They're poisoning our water. They're poisoning our food. They're giving us these things. I don't know, man. Hey, thanks for coming on. Please rate, subscribe, hit the bell button. Have a nice evening.